it also demands responsibility, which is very Pluto and Aquarius. If you can understand through your own spiritual practices, through your own gnosis, through your own getting to these parts of consciousness where it's all you, then you immediately start taking responsibility for you and your projections, right? So the cleanup right now, and this is also the nodes of fate, which is right now the North Node is in Pisces, which is what we've all come to learn, is developing a spiritual practice and a connection to the divine that surpasses the mind. It's a knowingness. It's the age, we're moving out of the age of belief, which is the age of Pisces, into the age of knowing. I know, like I know, like I know. That this is how these frequencies work. I may not have the language yet, right? So we talk about the priests, the modern priests, which is our scientists, are starting to give language to the mystical happenings that have been happening this whole time. But we've been using, say, religious language to define our experiences. And now we're bridging the gap between what science is telling us, the mystics of science, right? These are priestcraft as well, that get humanity to believe that we're in a cusp and a precipice of a whole new way of thinking and seeing. So this is with the sun in Gemini ingressing into it. You're going to be receiving all kinds of data. We already have, because Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, has been in Gemini. So it's been expanding. I mean, a lot of us have been blown away by just how this reality, perhaps what we've been taught, early education, also Gemini, is being blown out of the water. It's basically being saying, hey, we got to rewrite our histories here, because what we thought, what our ancestors thought things were, because we were in amnesia, the Kali Yuga phase of the epoch cycle we've been in. Well, now we're starting to reemerge, more data and more knowledge. We're getting more expanded. We're getting back online, if you will, with how things truly, the truth of who we are. And it's beyond logic. It's beyond even what's comprehensible. We don't even really truly have the language yet to express these inner technologies that are starting to come outside of us. So with this channel, we want to go ahead and help you to put those thoughts together. First of all, that, hey, what if it's all you? There's one of us here in this energetic field of consciousness. Some people call it the unity consciousness. They call it the quantum field, whatever, God, divine intelligence, creator, the one source, whatever language you use. This is all part of this dark matter field of consciousness that we're all in. So how does it want to be expressed through you, through your own individuated source field energy pattern, voice box that's unique, that while we're still all part of this one divine system, you still are uniquely you, right? So it's just like you go into the garden and there's flowers, but not every flower is a rose, right? Some are roses, some are daisies, some are irises, but they're all flowers. You see? So this is kind of how humanity has been operating. We're all humans, but there's different seeds of human. When you hear star seeds, this is what we talk about, right? So we're all part of this garden, but some of us may be roses, Palladians, some of us may be irises, Arcturians, right? But we're still all part of this garden, right? So these are the metaphors that wanted to come in. And of course, I did not bring anything to drink, and my body's starting to get hot, because whenever I start transmitting energy is when I know my guides are with me, meaning my inner guidance system, all my activation systems are getting turned on right now. So that means the collective's ready to receive, and we're ready to transmit some energy. So let's look at the astrology first and foremost. Again, if you want to grab a drink, again, essential oil, take a breath, and let's look at some of the astrology as what's going on now. And then we can talk about, also today too, I wanted to share with you guys, if you follow the Mayan calendar system, and I can look at that as well. I did not put a screenshot on here. But there is also a gap day happening today, which in Mayan astrology is called a galactic activation portal day. And there's only 52 of them per 260-day cycle. And there's one happening today, and it's the white rhythmic mirror for those that follow. And if you want to check this out, you can check out the app 1320 Sync, which also follows the Mayan calendar system. So again, this is also part of the layering effect that I practice with. I look at the Western astrology. I follow the shamanistic view of what's happening with nature. I also follow, again, the Mayan cosmology, and I just layer it together, putting the pieces of the puzzle together through my own gnosis, through studying these different, again, knowledge, data, and then I assimilate it into wisdom through my own meditative practice, right? Through being in my body, through, it's one thing to learn knowledge, but then how do you integrate it into wisdom? And I'm here to learn Sagittarius, so this is definitely my North Node natally in Sagittarius. I've got to learn this, right? That's what I've come to learn. 29 degree, I have this, it's the last anoretic. I've probably done this before in the past, but I didn't complete it, right? I've come to complete this energy of learning how to assimilate knowledge, data, and turn it into wisdom, right? Through my own self-gnosis. And I do that by studying different patterns, different, again, pattern recognition. And how I do that is studying different religions, different cultures, different ways people were seeing their reality. And because there's stories there, there's truth, there is a golden thread of truth in these stories if you choose to follow that within yourself. There's wisdom to be gleaned everywhere if you choose to look at it that way. Again, perception, this is Gemini. How you perceive your reality is going to dictate what your reality shows, how the reality shows up for you, right? So right now, the reality's been showing up for a lot of us as division, divided, warring, imbalanced. And so perhaps in this Gemini season, we're starting to see if you're willing to recognize that it's all you and willing to go into that middle path, right? Like the Buddha says, the middle way, because Gemini rules two, or rules everything that's two in your body, both hemispheres of the brain, the two hands, 2 feet, everything that's two in your body, the lungs, all is represented by Gemini, right? So I'm going to read to you what the Mayan galactic activation portal day, and today is May 21st. It's a 3-day, and this is the portal day of today's energy. So you can sit with this and just kind of contemplate it and meditate on it. It says, I organize in order to reflect, balancing order. So here we go, talking about Gemini. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the rhythmic tone of equality, equalizing, balancing. Again, I'm thinking of hemi-syncing, right? I am guided by my own power doubled. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. And it's wave spell 5, which also has to rule Mercury, because 5 is the number that's ruled by Mercury. And it's Red Skywalker. And the energy reflections of the Red Skywalker is here: space, explore, and wakefulness. So whatever this means to you, again, these are concepts, these are energies per the Mayans that help you reflect on the wave spell of energy. If you think of, like, again, a Fibonacci spiral, because that's how the energy per the Mayans saw it. They saw it as spiraling energy, and they used a 28-day cycle, right? 13 moon calendar system. So they're saying, hey, there's approaching waves of energy that you can sit with and meditate on, because it's about pattern recognition. And so the Mayans studied their own pattern recognition. Western astrologers studied their own pattern recognition, right? Eastern Vedic astrologers studied their own pattern recognition. It's about recognizing patterns, blueprints, systems that are in play, and then using this tool, whatever that is for you, in your own unique way to make sense of it, so you can have more harmony and balance and peace with what's going on all around you, right? So it's helping unify the dividing parts of ourselves, if you will. So I just wanted to read that to you. And also, let's take a look at the transit today, May 21st. I use Greenwich Village time, which is here in the Northern Hemisphere, United States. And I like to put it too as Aries on the first cusp, because this is like, it just helps to keep things more regulated. It's going to look different for everybody depending on where you're located. But I through this program here, it's Astro Gold, I'm able to put Aries at the first part of it, so we can kind of see imagery wise the energies and how they're at play. And so you can see here too, the sun just ingressed into Gemini, again, rules the 3rd house. And Jupiter, with the planet of expansion, has been in Gemini. It's going to be ingressing in June into Cancer. But what was interesting, and the energy that wanted to be spoke about, is this upcoming transit new moon. So we're going to be moving here the wheel a day ahead to the 20. First of all, we're going to be going into the 25th. You can see here, Mercury will be at its last degree point with Taurus. So there's going to be a summing up of when Mercury, the mind, has been thinking about, all things Taurus, money, stability, second house values, right? So maybe some things that we've been asked to slow down with the mind and Taurus. And now on the 25th, going into the 26th, right around this new moon, the Mercury is going to be going into its own sign, which is Gemini, because Mercury rules Gemini. Like, it's at home in Gemini. It likes to be at Gemini. So all this grounding and being in nature, this is another thing too. We get a lot of information the more you can get into nature, since it's been in Gemini. Well, now this ingress moving into air, you're going to be seeing air. Think about the elements of how Earth moves and then how air moves, right? So Earth is slow. It's a receiver. It's yin. It gathers things into itself, just like the Earth, right? It holds fire. It holds water. It holds the plants. It holds everything. But now with the shifts moving our personal planets, which is the sun, Mercury, the moon with this new moon phase, it's going to be transiting into air. And we think about how air moves, right? Air is quick. It changes directions. It can move the branches in the trees. And if there's a lot of it, it can actually there's been a lot of tornadoes coming across this place in Kentucky where I'm at. So you can see when air is powerful. And again, it's going to be trining Pluto, which is transformation. So, and it's going to be aspecting here. Jupiter is still in Gemini. There is a lot of expanding, powerful air movement, dynamic movements happening, and air rules the mind. So the more active